now it's like the highlight of my day, seeing the story, crazy stories and posts that they do. Mostly Eric. But today's event is Scale Your Amazon Business to Streamline Your Efficiency. I suspect that it's going to have to do with wholesaling. But they got this big white paper here. I'm imagining you're going to see some really cool stuff on there. I've had an opportunity to meet them for the first time over the last few days. Seem like really great guys. Get a lot of people in this space that start selling or talk about some numbers or something like that. And they're just like real phone. These guys like really seem to be the real McCoy in that regard. I know a lot of sellers, new and experienced, that have even taken a course that I've not seen the course myself. Maybe I can use I've not seen the course myself, but I know a lot of new and experienced sellers that have taken the course and seen gains in their business and are very impressed with certain things. I've not heard anything bad about it actually, but it's very rare in this space. So with that, let's welcome Amazon Lit, Sebastian.
Information to help all of you grow your Amazon businesses. But before we get started, I want everybody to stand up. Everybody stand up. I want you to turn to someone you don't know, right? Not somebody you came with. That's a couple minutes.
Just hug it out, right?
Yeah. Right? We're all going to get uncomfortable together. Turn to someone you don't know and say, hey, my name is, insert name here. I appreciate you being here. Let's talk after. All right? Awesome. So how are we feeling now? How are we feeling, right? What's going? Awesome. Fantastic. Now, I want you to turn with someone you came with and say thank you for coming.
Sorry to hear that.
I appreciate you. That's what we're supposed to say?
Yeah, appreciate it.
Now, why did I do that? To change your mental and physical state, right? Because we're just sitting here, maybe a little uncomfortable. A lot of people don't know people here. Some people might not know anybody. Right? You just see us, you're like, okay, I'm interested in Amazon, or I'm already selling on Amazon. Let me check out this event. Right? So not everybody gets super uncomfortable here today. That's the name of the game. Growth happens in the uncomfortability phase. So we're all going to get real uncomfortable. Who's down to get uncomfortable today? Raise your hand and say
Woo!
aye. Aye, louder. Raise your hand and say aye.
Woo!
Oh, fantastic, everybody. Thank you. Everybody take a seat. We're going to get right into this here. Wow, so many familiar faces. How many familiar faces?
A lot of people from Orlando to Miami to our members. There's a lot of people.
This is so exciting. So first of all, I want to give a shout out to Wizards of Ecom. Can you get a round of applause? Thank you so much. We appreciate all of you. And all the guys who came to help. We got Alex, we got Mike, we got Gabe, and we got so many other people here. Right? This event took a little while to put together, so let's give them a round of applause too. Thank you so much. It's all of you, so give all of you a round of applause for coming out tonight. It's been a long week. I'm not going to be able to talk by tomorrow, but I'm okay with that, right? It's all about sacrifices. So we're excited to be here. We got a hell of a presentation. It's going to be pretty wild. But why don't we talk a little bit about the early times, Sebastian? What it was like early on growing our business and like those growth phases, right? Like that first couple $1,000s in sales. What that look like for you?
You know, first of all, the reason we do this is because we understand what it's like starting small or having zero information and not knowing where to look for the correct information. There's a lot of misinformation out there, and so why Eric and I became became so prevalent on social media, more Eric than I, but became so prevalent on social media is because there was a lack of correct information out there. And it's scary. When you go into a business, no matter what business, not just Amazon, any business, you're taking a risk. It's very scary. There is a lot of fear of failure. But then there's the other side. What drove us and what's probably driving you is the fear of never trying and never knowing if you would have found success. And so we're here to talk about a lot of the ways that we succeeded. Because early on, when, you know, for that first $1,000 for me was more inspiring than the first 100,000. Because the first 1,000 showed us that, hey, this thing really works. As long as I put the work in and I keep going, this thing will work. So that first 1,000, I think, was more of an aha moment than the 100,000 and even the million. You know?
Awesome. Awesome. So let's do a little poll here real quick. I want to kind of gauge the audience here. So who here is completely new, never sold a product on Amazon? Show of hands. 1, 2, 3, 4. We got about 6, 7 of you. So brand new, right? We got about 7 of you. Who here is going between $0 and $100,000 per month on Amazon? All right, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. That's about 20. And now who's doing 0? What was that?
A month or a year?
A month. Oh, okay. I know it's a big gap, but we're only going to do 3 We're only going to do 3 of these.
It's like you're starting
Now,
at 7
who's doing
figures.
more than $100,000 a month on Amazon? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 100K plus. Now we're going to take it even one step further. Who's doing more than $1 million a month on Amazon? 1, 2. Awesome. 1 million. Do we cue up that Wayne track? No. We got 2, right? So regardless of where, why did I do this, right? Not to call anybody out, right? Because when you're running a business, you're going to experience all of these stages if you continue to grow, right? We're all new at some point in our business. Sebastian and I were brand new in his basement, lugging UPS boxes into his uncle's minivan, taking them every single day. How was that for you? You remember doing that?
Of course.
Awesome.
Part
Right?
of the driving.
Part of the driving factor, understanding the ins and outs of your business. So we're all new, and then we start hitting this phase, right? Doing $10,000 a month, $15,000 a month, $20,000 a month. You start paying off some of your bills, some of your car loans, maybe helping your family out, taking care of your children. That shit's exciting to me, right? That's when you really see, like, oh my God, there's an opportunity here. And then you reach these levels, right? Like these 13 people here. And now you're like, holy shit, my life's changing. This is life-changing money. You know, and then you break this, right? If you keep putting in action, keep taking initiative, you break this number a month. And now you're like, oh my God, this is crazy. I used to be flipping products out of my basement. Now I got all these employees and I'm able to go travel around the country while my business operates. Right? So these are all different phases of your businesses that will happen if you take action. I promise you that. I promise you that. So right here, 10%, right? This isn't, we're not talking about margins here. Right? This isn't like wholesale gross margins. But right now, all of you are part of the top 10%. Does anybody know why that is? Anybody?
Because we're here.
Took action, right? So only 90% of people will never attend an event like this. 90% of adults will never attend an event like this. So everybody here is already part of the top 10%. Right? Because how can you tell who a person is, right? Is it what they say? Is it their hopes and their dreams? Is that how you can tell a person is? And if I stand up here and you don't know me, right? You don't know me from a hole in the wall, and I meet you outside, and I tell you I'm going to be a millionaire one day, or I'm going to take care of my family. I'm going to move my parents out of their small house and move them to a bigger house. But you don't know me from a hole in the wall. What would you think? Like maybe this guy's going to do it, but I don't know. Right? So what really separates is action. Right? Because people can talk a lot of talk, but it's all about taking that action, taking that initiative. That's what separates the winners from the non-action takers. Right? We're not going to call them losers, because nobody's a loser. The non-action takers and the winners. That's what separates us here. So we got a ton of information here. I think we should just get right into it, right? That's just stuff. So, first I want to do a little poll again. Who came, I want to see, if you came from really far, raise your hand. Like really far. Where'd you come from? New Hampshire, okay. Georgia, that's not really far. Come on, are you right here? What about you?
He's asking.
Where?
Dave.
Houston, baby. What about you? New York. Okay.
San Francisco.
Okay. Oh, you.
Damn!
New York. Anybody else who beats San Francisco? Come see me after I got you on a shirt, my friend. Thank you so much for coming out, and thank you all for coming out. We appreciate you taking the time. You know, how many people came out just for this, right? Don't live in the Miami area. Came out just for this. See, that should be exciting. I think should be exciting, my friends. So, we're going to be talking about scaling your business, everything. You got a question over there? Oh, you're looking for her? She's over there. You can just pull, oh, she saved your seat too, man. Awesome. Awesome. We're going to cover a lot of stuff today. You know, scaling your business, all that good stuff here. All that good stuff. And we're going to cover something super important, right? So if you have a pen and a pad, I encourage you to take notes here. Because we're going to be talking about the transformation block. Nobody's ever heard of this. How do I know nobody's ever heard about the transformation block? How do we know nobody's ever heard about it?
This is what we created. This is what we use in our own business. This is our blueprint from where we went from the start to where we are today.
Yeah. So nobody's heard of it because we literally designed this process.
Facebook.
Right? You might have heard parts of it, and you're going to be able to put the pieces of the puzzle together. But the information you're hearing today,
Eventually, I want to
people
like
don't talk
hook
about it
all
anymore.
that up for.
We want to provide as much value as possible. Because at the end of the day, we're value-driven people. So I know I wake up every morning, I roll out of my bed onto my knees, thank God for another day, and I think like, how can I be of maximum service to the God of my understanding and my fellows, right? To all of you. How can I be of maximum service? How can I deliver as much energy and value as possible? What do you do when you wake up in the morning?
There's a few things to my daily routine. First of all, I love to get up early, and what we're going to get into, understand that your business, no matter how much we cover here, is going to always depend and parallel to you. Meaning that the more you grow, the more you get uncomfortable, the more you change and adapt, so will your business. Do not think that anything that we show you today, if you're not building on yourself and taking action, your business will not change.
So this is the transformation block right here, right? We're gonna redraw it right here. I want you all, if you got pens and pads, please draw this. If not, take a picture, right? So, I'm gonna go over here, we're gonna use all this. Right, so it's a transformation block. It's pretty straightforward, right? Not an artist. But I can draw a block, right? So we'll call this, what is it? T, 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 B. This is the TTB. Right, and this first box is your IOs. Your second box is your EOs. Everybody can see that? This third box is your ROs. And then your fourth box is your 4 Ps. And we're going to dive deep into all this, right? We're going to break down what the internal operations means, the external, the relationship opportunities in the 4 positions, so you can further understand that information. I went the wrong way. So 28% of businesses fail, right? That's a lot, right? Some of them fail in the first year, the rest fail in year 2 and 3, and then half of those fail in year 5, right? So you need to take continued action to continue to innovate in your systems, because while other people are changing their businesses and moving forward and understanding Amazon terms of service, who loves Amazon terms of service? Raise your hand and say aye. Nobody? Oh, come on. Aye, she does. Vanessa does. Awesome, fantastic. Somebody does, right? So you got to understand these ins and outs of the processes. How important is it to understand that information?
It's the difference between having a successful business and not. So we're going to be covering deep into that, and you have to understand 72% of businesses fail. And the reason they fail is exactly what we're going to be covering. So please take notes, take pictures, and understand how you can grow your business. Don't let fear get in the way, because all of you can succeed. It's just about changing, and that's what we're here to provide.
Yeah, so this is our DOB right here. Not like my actual birthday. 7/11/2013. So almost 8 years ago. We're coming up on our 8th birthday, right? What are we going to do? We're going to Bali for our 8th birthday, or just work one? Just work one. Right? So this is a little bit about the early times and what we learned over the years in developing our processes within our systems, right? So some of you, how many have their own, whether it's a storage unit, something other than your house or a prep center that you are packaging inventory in? Show of hands. So warehouse, storage unit, okay, garage. All right, now how many of you still operating this business out of your house? Okay. And now how many do not do either of those and use a third-party prep center? Okay. All right, great. So this is like that first phase when you move into your first place. It can be very confusing, right, Sebastian?
Absolutely. I had no idea. Actually, in the first place, this is our second. In the first place, right at the beginning, I just had cardboard on the floor, and I was stacking the products on the floor.
And that's where you slept too, right? On the cardboard.
That is now that's what I had to do. And then we had Vinny Dunn. You remember Vinny?
Yeah, R.I.P. Vinny Dunn then.
Yeah, I gave him a notebook, and he said, "What should I do?" I gave him a notebook, and I said, "Count the inventory." It was probably like 100 units. I said, "Count the inventory." I just didn't know where to go, and so I spent a lot of time learning how to develop the business. And all of you should not only take action but continue to learn, which obviously you are because you're here. You're part of that 10%.
Absolutely, part of that 10%. So this is what our second place looked like. And these are real tables, by the way. I don't know if you can see, these are real tables, but this is what it looked like, right? So in the morning, we would have, whatever, 7, 10 employees we came, and they would all go to this little section and they'd grab one of those fold-up Costco tables. You know what the tables I'm talking about, right? The little lunch tables, and they'd grab one and they'd pick a corner. Right? That's why I have these tables just everywhere. They'd pick a corner, and then in the back corner we'd have the bachata section, and in this corner we'd have the hip hop, and then over here we'd have the country because there was no organization. Everybody just did whatever they wanted to do, and we were cool with it because we didn't know. We didn't know, like, do you know how much money we're losing by not having processes in place? So we just kind of winged it. That was fun though. It was cool listening to music and stuff.
We went through that so we could get to where we are. And because at that early stage we didn't have a mentor. We'll get into later on who we found and others that we found that helped us scale, transform ourselves faster. All of you can do it yourselves, but it's about, do you want to take 5 years or 1 year to get your business to the next level?
Absolutely. So then we went from this, right? We went from this to this. A little more organized. Right? So we had production stations. No more picking tables up and going wherever you want, right? I want to cut that time out. No more listening to 50 different types of music. You get one type of music and you share it every day, right? Because I'm all about company morale. How important is company morale? So important, right? So I want my employees and our employees to be happy, dancing a little, laughing, joking, because their happiness means my business is growing. The more they get paid, our business is growing. It's all value right there. So this is what we did, right? This is in warehouse number what, 3 or 4? One of them. 4, right? So we set up these production stations, and the products would come in to this other warehouse, which is the warehouse you saw in the previous photo. They would come in this way. We would stage them in front of each production station, and then we would funnel them back out the other door. And it would just be like a circle. In one door, out the other. In one door, out the other. And here, what were we producing a day here, maybe?
3? I say 3 down.
3,000 units a day out of this operation with 1, 2, 3, 4 production stations. Now, who here has production stations that look similar to this? Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. Awesome. Fantastic. Right? That's the growth opportunity. So changing up your systems a little bit, getting uncomfortable, and switching it up to streamline your efficiencies. And we're going to get into that a lot. But now we got this. How do I play? Yeah, how do I play? No music? It's all right. So this is what we look like today. Right? These are 2 of our production stations. This is about 6 hours of sped up operation in our warehouse. Every day in our warehouse, I'll let you watch the video.
There's another 3 stations that you can't see. And remember what Eric just said, we had 3 total stations in Pinebrook?
Yeah, 4.
4 total stations in Pinebrook, producing about 3,000 ACs a day. Now we have 5 stations where we are, and we produce 15,000 a day almost.
Yeah.
15,000 ACs a day get produced.
So how many people want to grow their business and pump more units out? Raise your hand and say aye. Well, I can't hear you. Raise your hand and say aye. Awesome, fantastic. Right now, keep in mind, this did not happen overnight. Absolutely not. It didn't happen overnight. This took lots of long nights, early mornings, late nights, family calling, hey, E, you coming home? Hey, Sebastian, you coming home? It's like, no, baby, I'm still at the office, I'm gonna be here until probably 3 in the morning, we're changing our system, right? So we made sacrifices early on. Fortunately, our families were able to understand that.
What they say?
You know, communication is key when it comes to growing your business. You gotta be on the same page with people that you're working with and your family. How important is family? Raise your hand if you think family is important. Absolutely, family is important. Right? How many have kids in here? Awesome. Awesome. How special is that feeling having a little kid?
Woo!
That's amazing. Right? I don't know, but my mom tells me all the time. She's like, Eric,
I'm so proud of him.
she's like, how's it feel to have 4 beautiful kids? Does it happen? And he adopted He's actually building our team. That's the 2025 team, right? Sebastian?
Yes.
Yeah, so we're gonna leave the questions to the end. Yeah. So I know Sebastian works his ass off because he wants to provide for those little kids, you know, the little beauties. One of his kids is my goddaughter. And it's just amazing. It's amazing to be able to provide. So what do we got next? So we're going to talk about the IOs. The first option here, internal operations. Super important, right? We're going to cover receiving, picking, producing, shipping, monitoring, all that stuff internal that happens within your business, inside of your business. Right? Super important. So what are some of the things in the internal processes, Sebastian?
So the internal operations is how you're going to be able to get your products in and out to Amazon as fast as humanly possible, right? We bring in truckloads every day. We ship 7 truckloads in a 5-day work week to Amazon fulfillment centers. And the reason we can do that is because we get it in and out in less than 24 hours. In less than 1 workday, we're getting full truckloads, 26 pallets, broken down, received, picked, staged, brought to packing stations, produced, brought to shipping stations, loaded onto trucks, and shipped out. 7 full truckloads in a 5-day work.
So what that would look like for you to duplicate this process, right? There's 7 stages. It's pretty simple. The inventory comes into your facility. Whether you're in your garage, it's even better if you start when you're smaller, because then when you begin to scale, it'll be that much easier. It's just a matter of making some tweaks to the size of your business. But it starts, you unload it, right? You get it out of the truck. You put it preferably in a receiving area, a designated area where the inventory goes, so you know, hey, this is inbound, this hasn't been touched yet, we didn't even look at this yet. Right? And then you start the breakdown process. You gotta check for discrepancies. We ordered 120, only got 118. Am I gonna report the 2? Is it only 2? Is it worth reporting the 2? Do I just eat it? You know, are we short 60? Did we get 60 over? You wanna communicate that with your vendors and distributors so you're not leaving money on the table. Guys, make yourself at home. Come grab a chair.
One of the things we also communicate early on with a supplier, distributor, wholesaler in our relationships is expiration. Many of you know that Amazon requires certain expiration dates for certain products. It's become a little bit more specific, so we've had to transition and make changes. However, a majority of our products are about 120 days. Some a little bit longer, but typically we need 120 days. And because we communicated that early on and built the relationships, that also is considered part of that discrepancy. Not only shortages, not only overages, not only damage, but if a product comes in with less than 120 days, we can return it, no question asked.
And I didn't forget about y'all YouTube folks out there. So in the comments, put where you're from. Carlos, if you see those comments anywhere, I want to know what the furthest country away is, because we appreciate everybody. Throw some fire emojis in those comments as well. We appreciate you attending this event as well. So after the inventory is received, it's broken down, right? A discrepancy is documented, it's reported back to the company. Then you got to add products to an Amazon shipment, right? And then those products need to be picked, meaning that they're actually moved from one location to a production station over to staging, right? So it's the full process. You receive the inventory, you count the invoice, make sure it's accurate, you report the discrepancy, and then you pick it for what's going on the Amazon shipment, and then you stage it at the front of a production station.
And communicate with your suppliers their discrepancy time. Some suppliers need it within 24 hours. Some will wait a week. You need to build that relationship and ask those questions so you're not sending it 3 days later and they're saying we needed it within 2 business days and you're shit out of luck.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So how many people love looking at their profit margin every day?
Booyah.
Right? I love that shit too. It's one of the first things I do every morning. I love it. I love it. Gets my juices flowing, you know? Just get souped up. Wake out of bed, coffee, prayer, coffee, car, podcast, profit margins. You know, we gotta create an acronym for that with a t-shirt. Because it's exciting, right? But don't get too focused on the profit margin, especially who's in your first 2 years of business? Probably a lot of you, right? Awesome. So about a third of you in your first 2 years of your business. Right? In the first 2 years of your business, you should be focused on, especially if you're doing a wholesale business model, right? Even retail arbitrage. You should be focused on moving a lot of inventory for a few reasons. Count health metrics, Amazon trusts you more, customer feedback, buy box priority, because the more you sell on Amazon, the more listings you're on, the more Amazon prioritizes you and puts you in that magical buy box. Who loves the buy box? I love the buy box. Right? The buy box is amazing. Everybody wants the buy box. Most of the shopping happens on cell phones. Who's got a cell phone? I got two, but not on me. Right? Most of the shopping happens on cell phones, where people aren't even looking at tiny little. How small is that letter? You need glasses to see it. It's like click on 11 more sellers. It's just buy box. I want it now. Instant gratification. Right? So a lot of people spend too much time focused on that profit margin. That's not to say profit margin isn't crucial. Right? Profit margin is super important. You need to be making money. If you're not making money, you're not going to be taking care of those kids we were talking about before, or your family,
or yourself. We're big picture people. So when Eric's saying profit margin, what he means is that it's not the only piece of the puzzle. And too many businesses just look at how much am I going to make off this one order? Is it 10%? Is it 20%? And they're not looking at how many orders can I move in a month if I drop my profit margin by 2%? How many will I move in a year? How better will my relationship be with my supplier if I'm placing orders more frequently? How much more feedback will I have which will help me get the buy box? All these other pieces of the puzzle are lost by the illusion of just looking at the profit margin.
Some other things that dropping your profit margin can do is give you happier suppliers because you're able to increase your order sizes, right? Better pricing. And we get to efficiency. We're talking about a production station, right? So let's say that today, this table was a production station, right? I would literally, the less your employees move, your packers, the less they move, the more money. So I don't want them stepping over here. I don't want them stepping over there. I want them standing right here. And everything is in arm's reach. Because every step they take, I lose money. You lose money. Who likes losing money? Show of hands. Nobody. Who likes making money? Show of hands. Awesome, right? That's why we're all here. To grow our businesses. That's why you came out. That's why this guy came from San Francisco. To make more money. So the less movement your employees make, the more money you make. You gotta have these systems in implement them. Wanna go over shipping, Sebastian?
Let's go over shipping. And I just want to touch on one more thing when it comes to production. So when we showed you that screen early on in warehouse number 2 with the tables, we would have a few different of our warehouse workers on the same table, but they each individually be working on putting components and building ACEs, right? Putting ACEs together, prepping. They would do the whole process. We learned quickly that that was not the most efficient way to do it. You want multiple people working on the same ACE. The first person on the line is grabbing the product off of the pallet or the U-boat, putting it on the table, opening up the case, while the second person might be taking the different components that were now put on the table and putting them together, bundling them to prepare the ASIN. Then the next person down the line might be doing the final prepping, whether it's choke hazard stickers, the FNSKU sticker, this is a set, do not separate sticker, and then putting it in the box. So it's just like any manufactured line. When you're putting ACEs together and you're doing wholesale and bundle, when we go back to profit margin, bundling is where you're gonna see the highest profit margins, not those single items, especially in wholesale. Bundling is where you're gonna see it, and this is why we develop these processes to grow our business.
Yeah, and some ways to speed up your efficiency are as soon as a product is finished box, you want to put it on a pallet and move it to your shipping station. You know, you also want to track your metrics. How many of you, whether you're just starting, you're experienced, whatever, regardless of where you are in your business, how many of you know on average how many products you produce out of your place in a day?
How about how long it takes? Do you know how long it takes to produce your ASINs on average?
These are important metrics to consider, right? And we never did this. We're sharing this information with you because we learned this, and all of a sudden our business began to skyrocket. In the past 12 months, our business has grown 100%. That's crazy. How many people's business has grown? I'm sure a lot of your hands have grown up. How many people's businesses has grown in the last year? Yeah, exactly, right? Amazon just flooded with new customers. 30 million new Amazon Prime members joined Amazon in the past 12 months because of COVID. Right? And that's not going to change. Those 30 million members aren't going to cancel their membership. So what's that mean? More opportunity for us, more opportunity for all of you. And then some of the other internal processes that you need to understand, keep up, competitive sellers, all that stuff on the buying side. You know, understanding your margins and your profitability, and then your IP complaints. So like that's just like the basics, right? You got to get down to basics and have your buyers understand all that information. It's super important. It's super important.
Can we step back to shipping? I just want to touch on something.
Yeah, sure. Anything for you.
As far as the shipping goes, a lot of people look at, it's kind of like that profit margin thing where we were just covering. A lot of people look at the price of your LTL, your less than truckload, not for anyone who's using UPS, Amazon Partner Carrier, SPD. Keep doing that. That's the best way. But this is strictly for LTL, people that are palletizing their products, less than truckload, full truckload. And they're looking at Amazon Partner Carrier and seeing this phenomenal price that they can't get from any other carrier, or maybe they think it's seamless, and so they're selling on Amazon, Amazon will handle that, why look anywhere else? Well, the reason you want to look somewhere else is because when you use Amazon Partner Carrier, you're using Amazon trailers. And so what that means is your product gets to Amazon fulfillment centers, and then guess what? It doesn't go to a loading dock like a private carrier would that might cost a little more money. It's sitting in Amazon's fulfillment center in the parking lot until they're ready to unload it. How many of you are shipping LTL right now? Pallets. How many of you are waiting greater than 2 weeks for your product to check in? How about 3 weeks? 4? 5?
It's been from Q4 like a long time.
6? Anyone with 6?
Give me 7. Who's got 7? We got 8.
My point is, saving those few $100s, I'd rather pay $600. I'd rather pay $1,000 for a carrier than pay my $250 with Amazon Partner Carrier and have my product there when it's supposed to be at my appointment time and checked in and live on Amazon within 2 days. Because if you have a pallet of products, how much value is there? For us, it's a full truckload, so there's a lot of value there. And how many times can you possibly turn it in a year? If I could do in 2 days what many of you are doing in 4 weeks, that means I could bring in, let's do the math, about 15 truckloads, 15 deliveries before you even get your one check. And over a year compounded, what's that gonna look like? So, $1,000 for a carrier all of a sudden doesn't sound too bad.
Yeah, it's all about that inventory. So before we get to the external operations here, I want everybody to stand up one more time. We're going to get uncomfortable together. Who likes to get uncomfortable together? I love getting uncomfortable together. Let's do it. All right? So on the count of 3, I want everybody to say, I can do anything if I take action, and then scream. So I'll do it. Right? I can do anything if I take action. Ah! Right? You got it? You got it? So 1, 2, 3. I can do anything if I take action. Yeah! Awesome. One more time for me. One more time. 1, 2, 3. I can do anything if I take action. Yeah! Awesome. Fantastic. Right? Change your mindset. Okay, let's get into this.
Marco.
All right, so the external operations, the EOs. Daily habits. Are they here? No, someone was asking in our live mentoring call on Monday, what are your daily habits? And I was like, bro, we're going to talk about them on Saturday, so just attend the live event on YouTube, and you'll be able to get them, and then we'll provide all of this to you afterwards, right? I think you were on the phone with Paul. Some of you were on the phone. Ramon was there, so. So daily habits, these are things I literally do every single day. First thing, right? Come in, we were just talking about profit margin, thinking of a cool acronym to create, haven't created it yet. Well, first thing I do when I go in is I check yesterday's sales and profits, right? I wanna see if there's any outliers. Who wakes up one morning, who has woken up one morning and you see like, wow, sales have skyrocketed, right? You usually do, let's say 7,000 a day or 700 a day, and then all of a sudden your sales tripled in one day. Who's that ever happened to before? Right? You're like, wow, that's so cool. What's the first thing you do? You figure out what happened, right? You want to know what product it was, if you still have inventory in it, you know, if you need to replenish it, because it's generating more revenue for you. So that's one of the first things I do every single morning. I literally open up, I'm analyzing yesterday's sales with the previous day, with the previous month, with the previous week. I'm looking at profit margins. And then another thing I do, which I encourage everybody to do this, is I go to my orders tab. I change it from its default of 20, and I switch it to 100 so I can see all the recent orders. And I'm just looking for outliers. You should be looking for outliers of the morning sales. So from the previous night to the morning, and what I'm doing, I'm just scrolling the first 5 pages, and I'm looking like, okay, did this listing I just sold 80 of in the past 5 hours? Maybe I have an opportunity to go to my repricer and raise the price $2 to pull some more profit out of it. Because if it's selling that fast, it means somebody sold out, right? Someone was dominating the buy box, sold out. I want to eat more. I want to make more money, so I'm going to raise it $1.50, $2, and then if I stop getting sales, you just put it back, and you get sales again. But it's a great opportunity to pull daily profits out. And then inventory. You want to make sure your products are in stock, right, Sebastian?
Always want to make sure your products are in stock, and you want to also look at the products that have been in stock too long. We have monthly fulfillment fees that Amazon's charging you for products that you're not moving. So typically, if we didn't intentionally order something for 90 days or 6 months, when we hit that 90-day mark and a product is still in the Amazon fulfillment centers, we're dropping the price, we're running coupons on it, we're checking our PPC, our wholesale PPC campaigns, we're doing some sort of discount to try to move this product because we know by the way that we source, by the way that we analyze products, we can find a better product, we can find a winner. But it's sitting in Amazon waiting, too many people just wait, because they want to hit that 20% profit or 25%, 30%, and they're unwilling to drop it, even break even on it, just to move it out so you can find a winner. So you can get that cash back and find a winner.
Yeah. And then buyer messages, obviously, you gotta check the account health step, right? And that's kind of the last 2 things. So you gotta check your buyer messages. You gotta make sure you had no IP complaints or any issues that need to be addressed in what, 72 hours, right?
For us, there's no real standard that Amazon states, but all account health issues should be addressed to some extent within 72 hours. Doesn't mean a resolution needs to be provided to them. Simple communication that we are looking into the issue and will provide an answer shortly will suffice. As far as your buyer messages go, those should be answered within 24 hours. And if you're not, it will impact your buy box, for sure. It's one of the metrics for the app.
And then one of the last things we like to check every morning is our stranded inventory. Because if inventory is stranded, it means you're not making money out of it. Sometimes it's as simple as updating the listing. You know, it might be missing a pack size or a bullet point, and they just want you to, there'll be a little red box around it, you click edit listing, and you just fix it, right? Sometimes you gotta, if anybody doesn't know this secret, this is a good one too, it's not really a secret, but you copy the merchant SKU, you save it somewhere on your computer, email it to yourself, you delete the listing, and then recreate it with the same merchant SKU. And it will refresh the listing and move it out stranded sometimes. So that's an option as well. Now Sebastian's going to dive deep into account health here.
Who here has any account health issues? So this is one of the least favorite of my things to do with Amazon and running a business. And unfortunately, this is not a task that I could delegate, at least early on. I needed to dive in, I needed to learn behind the scenes of what was happening in Amazon and why I was getting these complaints, these violations, of terms and services, you know, of why brands were claiming products were counterfeit, trademark, when they weren't. Because the proper information wasn't out there online. Amazon wasn't providing guidance, and so I had to do my work and dive in. You know, who here has had issues with suspected intellectual, you know? Yeah. So that's a big one. That also is one of the easier ones to fix. And we're gonna provide you some templates at the end of this. You know, we're gonna get your emails and provide you some templates at the end of this to go home with. So don't worry, some of the exact same templates that I created, we use for our own business, we're gonna provide to everyone here, so. As far as the Amazon trademark policy for the suspected intellectual, most of that's pretty easy. They, for that one specific, not the other stuff. But that one, they actually tell you what the issue is. They'll say Disney. So what they expect you to do is to remove the word Disney from anywhere in the list. Title, bullet points, description, needs to be removed. Now, if you're selling a Disney product, when the UPC that is on the listing matches the actual UPC of the product you have, then all you need to do is just search in Seller Central, trademark policy. And you'll see how some trademark issues, Amazon literally updated this like 3 months ago, how some trademark issues are actually not trademark issues, and they give an example of their own brand, and if you're selling that same brand and it's authentic, they give you a paragraph, which all we do is copy and paste it and say this is an authentic product that we're selling, as far as Amazon guideline goes. You put that paragraph in, and then copy the URL link. That's simple, and it always gets resolved. So maybe not the first time, maybe we get the wrong seller support person, but if we send it in again, we'll always get them resolved. Then your other one is your received intellectual property complaints. Anyone getting those from brands, complainants? These need to be addressed. To Amazon, this is huge. You know, unfortunately, there's some bad players in the game, brands that claim products are counterfeit when they're not, because they don't want you selling on their listings, and so they cause trouble. What you need to do, if you're not gonna hire a lawyer, which many of you aren't, because there's just too many issues, you know, it's too prevalent, what you're gonna need to do is you're gonna need to reach out to the complainant. First, you gotta make sure you have the proper documentation. Does anyone know what the proper documentation is that you're gonna need when you fight back? The invoice, exactly, thank you. You're going to need the invoice. That invoice is gonna have to have your Amazon business name on it. It's gonna have to have the address that you registered with Amazon on. It's going to also have to have the company's business name, the company's address. If the company's website is on there, phenomenal. A way to contact the company, phone number, email. Eric, how many times have you got, we also run a wholesale business. How many times have you gotten calls from Amazon for sellers that have purchased from our wholesale business and they want to verify that the product is
Almost every week. Almost every week, it's an Amazon rep calls me and says, hey, I have an invoice number, blah, blah, blah. Can you confirm that this was purchased from your wholesale company? Yeah, actually, I pulled up the invoice here, and if you'd like a copy, let me know.
Just cut through right
They
here.
actually check this information.
They are checking the information.
Just
They're
cut through right
very
here.
active
There's space back
in
there.
checking and verifying that what documentation you're providing is real. And too many people have reached out to us that have provided change documentation, to put it lightly, and they get their account suspended immediately, you know? So you wanna have the proper documentation. And if you have that, you're gonna wanna reach out to the complainant. And it depends, you have two sides. You're either gonna wanna reach out to the complainant and tell them, I wanna resolve this issue. What way can we do it? Or you can try to fight it. If they do not respond, within a week you send another email. If they don't respond again, within 3 days you send another email. Then what you do is you save that, you print it as an Adobe PDF, and you're going to provide all this information to Amazon. And we provide the template. You're gonna just tell Amazon that the last thing you wanted to do was get Amazon involved in this. However, the complainant was non-responsive, and so you had no other choice. Here's the documentation, here's my supplier information, here's the communication I tried to have with the complainant, but they were completely unresponsive. And for those two, it may take a couple of tries, but we always get them resolved.
What's the last one? Product condition?
You got
customer complaints?
product condition, customer complaints, and authenticity, and a lot of those, Now Amazon's asking for plan of action for you know, a new product sold as used. However, for a majority of those, invoices work, just providing invoices.
So how many people want these POAs? Right? This is like the exact plan of actions we've used. To how many accounts have we gotten reinstated in the past year? 100?
In the past year, at least 100.
At least 100, right? So they work, and we're gonna give them all to you. And we'll tell you how to get them afterwards. But we're happy to provide that information, because we don't want you struggling or getting scared or losing sleep at night. How many people have lost sleep because they wake up and you know? I haven't slept in 4 years. That's why my voice always sounds like this. I haven't slept in so long. So now 2D box labels. How many people know about 2D barcodes for your boxes, for your shipping? Show of hands. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's weird. It's only course members who saw it. Interesting that's there. Interesting. But 2D box content labels. It's an additional label. It doesn't have to be. You can put it on the same label as your shipping label that you put on your inventory when you're shipping it to Amazon, and it allows your inventory to get received in a fraction of the time. Who would like their inventory to be received in a fraction of the time? Right? Because what happens now when your inventory is received in Amazon, Amazon opens the boxes and they literally have to scan each FN SKU. And then it goes into these conveyor belts and it gets, you know, split up to these different directions, and some go to this truck and some go to that truck. But when you start using these 2D box content labels, they just scan this QR code here. They don't even open it. It goes straight to a truck into a different fulfillment center. It literally will save you days, if not weeks, right, Sebastian?
Our products get checked in within 24 hours. You have to understand a fulfillment center, they're already so congested. The last thing they want to deal with is the products that they sideline that don't have these labels, which, based on our discussions with our Amazon account rep and others at Amazon, within 18 months, they're gonna make this a prerequisite requirement for shipping out products, because the products that don't have this, the packages that don't have this, get sidelined until they can get to it. And there's thousands of products, thousands of cases in front of your boxes, your cases, before they can finally get to you. Versus for us, it's going down a conveyor to its final fulfillment center, whichever truck is at that dock, and being shipped right there.
Yeah. It also streamlines your internal, right? The first topic we talked about it streamlines your internal operations, because it makes it a little easier to package. I'm sure a lot of you are using like Inventory Lab, and you're putting them in boxes, then you're printing the labels. You got boxes with no labels over here, boxes with no labels over there. Who's doing that right now? Right? I'm sure some of you are. So it can get a little confusing early on. You know, and it also allows you to turn inventory quicker. The more units you can sell, the more money you'll make, as long as the units you're selling are
Now,
profitable.
when you're looking at this, you have to understand what we bring inside the program. This is something you can do too to streamline your efficiencies. You're probably looking at the top and saying, hey, this looks familiar. That's your FDA shipping label. Underneath, we added the 2D box content. So now we eliminated having to put 2 labels on every box. We keep it to 1 box. That is fine with Amazon based on their policies. We have not had an issue, and it reduces cost of labels and also reduces the time needed to put that label on. Of course, you're like, oh, what's the difference? But when you're doing thousands and 10,000 and 100,000 different boxes in a month period, it takes up a lot of time.
Yeah, we did the math. In a day, we send out about 2,000 cases, right? Like full cases. So imagine having to process 2,000 additional labels. It's like an hour worth of work. You know, when you spread it over the course of all the employees. So you got to be thinking with the scale mentality. Like, because if you might be like, oh, well, it's easy now. I'm only sending out 5. But if you can understand this early on, imagine when you're sending 50 or 500. You know, that's when it really gets simple. Relationship opportunities, right? This is one of the most important topics we're going to cover today, because the relationships are so important, right? That's why we're so transparent on social media. I literally want to know all of you. That's why we hosted this completely free event. I got a quick question. Who would have paid $100 to come to this event? Show of hands. Awesome, fantastic, right? Who would have paid $200 to come to this event? Show your hands. All right, some hand job. Who would have paid $300? Who would have paid $10,000 to come to this event? Nobody? Oh, we got some people, these guys. Awesome, right? So relationships, but we host this shit for free because we want to get everybody together. You know, Carlos was nice enough to allow us to house this here. And we're like, you know what? Let's just make this magic happen. And this came from a relationship. You know, 2 years ago, I came down to Fort Lauderdale for a wedding for my cousin, and I was, you know, just hanging out, small Instagram following then, and I just did a little sticker on my story, like, hey, well, any Amazon sellers want to hang out? I was bored. So Gabe, where's Gabe?
Gabe?
Gabe left.
No, he's helping us coordinate for
Oh, cool,
Bonefish
cool.
afterwards.
Yeah, so Gabe, right, one of the coordinators here. Gabe was like, I'll come. So he drove from Miami, he lives down here, came up to Fort Lauderdale. We went out to eat, we chilled, we talked. He's been in e-commerce for 17 years. We're just talking shop, talking about our business, his business, this business, that business. And then all of a sudden my brother calls me, because he was down here with me. He's like, hey, E, we're going out with the whole entire wedding, like the whole party, the groomsmen and the bridesmaids, and we're gonna go party. Like, and I was like, Gabe, you wanna roll with us? You know, and that first night, hanging out with Gabe, he met my entire family. And we partied till 5 in the morning, you know? And then he came up to New York City. And then he introduced me to Carlos. And about, what, 6 months ago, we jumped on a phone call?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, me, Carlos, and Gabe. And Carlos was super, you know, friendly, and I liked him. I just get that vibe, you know? So a lot of you get that feeling when you meet somebody, and you're just like, I like this person. I got that vibe with Carlos. So we talked through Zoom, and he was just like, E, if you ever need anything, and you come to Miami, let me know. You know, and then ASD, a bunch of our members of our mentoring program, they were talking about coming to Orlando, ASD, and it just all clicked, right? So this event started, this happened 2 years ago on a Saturday night, which is two Amazon sellers talking shop. You know, so the relationships are key. Get longer net terms. Who likes net terms here? I love net terms. Right? Getting inventory on consignment, not having to pay for it. What else do you get, Sebastian, with great relationships? Better pricing.
You get other suppliers. Believe it or not, when you build your relationships further, the suppliers you're working with will provide you with other suppliers. They'll say, oh, did you know so-and-so? You might want to reach out to them. They have a lot of different products. We know you sell anything that's profitable. Why don't you reach out to them, tell them I told you to give them a call. And we've built phenomenal relationships that way.
Yeah. So when you build relationships with these suppliers, you get first access to new inventory. Right? You want to be on speed dial when that supplier gets that new Head and Shoulder shampoo that everybody wants. Or you want to be on speed dial. Yo, E, I got 500 units of this. It's like, I'll take them all, ship them to me today. You know, you also want more product selection. Every supplier's got the secret catalog that they share with you. I'll tell you that 100%. Right? How many people have done business with a supplier, and the more business you do with them, the more opportunity presents itself? Show of hands, say aye. Awesome, right? Because relationships, I operate my business the same way. If you send me a DM on Instagram and I've never talked to you before, and you send me a 4-paragraph essay of a question, I probably just might be like, yes, no. Right? But if I meet you out here, and then you send me DMs for the past year, and then you schedule a call with us, or you join our course, like, I'll answer anything, because it's the relationship. Extended net terms, right? That's phenomenal too. Net 30, net 45, net 14. Essentially, anybody don't know what net terms is? We can explain that real quick. All right, so net terms essentially means that you get inventory loaned to you for a period of time, and you don't have to pay it back until that period of time reaches. So let's say a net 30, right? We'll do a net 30. It means that the inventory is received by you today, right? And you don't have to pay for it for 30 days. The best type of net is anything above 30 is phenomenal, right? A lot of distributors will give you 30 over time, right, Sebastian?
Yeah, 30's typically the max.
Par for the course.
Yeah.
But once in a while you get a 45 or even a 60, which is even more impressive. Anybody have more than net 30 in here? This guy does. What's your net?
I got a net 60.
Oh, wow.
Great.
Awesome. That's phenomenal.
What's the
Right, so-
supplier name?
My best supplier.
Yeah, best supplier, right? Awesome. And how long you been doing business with them? What's your name first? Javier. How long have you been doing business?
More than 2 years.
Okay. And how long did it take for you to get that net 60?
Almost 2 years.
And how much money did you have to spend with them? Approximately, I believe that.
I mean, like
50,000,
right now,
100,000.
I'm spending at least 100,000 a month.
100,000 a month. You're doing $1.2 million in purchases a year, right? So it didn't happen, you didn't just wake up one day and they're like, hey, I'm gonna loan you, what's your term or money value? 50,000, 100,000? What's the max? Or they don't care? You know.
For them?
Yeah, for the,
Yeah,
like,
but them, I mean,
it's just whatever. You
Usually,
get
yes.
whatever and pay it back. Amazing. That's a great
thing is that
relationship.
most of the times, like on those 2 months, I'm already making new orders, so
Yes.
I try to pay the
Pay,
oldest
yes.
first and then get like a new net 60 on the
Awesome.
last one and keep running that.
Awesome, Javier. Thank you so much for sharing that. Right, so essentially, the vendor loans you inventory for 30 days, and by the time you have to pay them back, you're making money off the inventory that they loaned you, and you're paying them back with the money that you're making off the inventory they loaned you, and it's just you repeat that process. So really, you don't gotta go take out a loan initially, or Amazon lending, which are all great opportunities, but first capitalize on net terms. And Sebastian just touched on other suppliers. Who's seen this picture before? I posted it a bunch, right? So this is one of the relationships, I'll go brief over this, right? But this is one of the relationships we built. It took us a very long time to build this relationship. We no longer do business with this company, that's why I'm comfortable sharing it with everyone. But we did business with them for about 2 years. It turned into a multi-million-dollar Amazon brand for us every single year. And this is one shipment. We would get these shipments every 2 weeks, right? And this stemmed from a relationship with this guy, Ian, who worked as an account rep for this company. And I saw him at trade shows. I'd see him at trade shows all the time. And I'd walk up to him and I'd be like, hey, Ian, I really like your Wisp. They're phenomenal. Who's ever had cheddar Wisp or in there? Anybody? Oh, you gotta get some. Go on Amazon and buy it. I don't sell them anymore, so it's not a shameless plug, right? But how many times did we see Ian before? It took like maybe 6 to 8 months to close this
And
thing.
it might have been a couple different trade shows, for sure.
Yeah. So I see Ian all the time and be like, hey Ian, it's E, like, let's do this. I'm super excited. I love your cheddar wisps and your bacon wisps and your Asiago wisps. They're amazing. I want to be the guy to sell them. Let me sell them, me, Ian, please. He'd be like, E, we're not really ready for this. And then I just finessed him and kept seeing him at trade shows. Finally. And he's like, all right, I'll place your first order. I was like, all right, I'll try like 6, 7 pallets, just give it a test. Sold them all in like 3 days. Next week, truckload. Next week, truckload. Next week, truckload. And we continued to do that for 18, 24 months. It was crazy. It was the first relationship we really built like that. It just let us show that you get a few amazing SKUs in your catalog, it's like, holy shit. It just happens. It's crazy, the opportunity that exists here. Sebastian, talk about this relationship for us. This is Sebastian right here. In front of 5 pallets of what is
That was
this?
a full truckload of
A full truckload of toilet
That
paper.
was March last year. This is a supplier we've worked with.
6 years, 5 years?
Yeah. So this is a supplier we've worked with now for about 6 years, and in the beginning of the pandemic and a little bit after, when everyone was running out of products, we were able to continue to provide the service of all the essentials that were needed. I mean, if you guys follow us on IG, you saw the truckloads we were bringing in of canned goods, the truckloads of toilet paper we were bringing in, and it was essentially almost all from this one supplier that we worked with. And back to Eric's story of the Wisps. Even now that Wisp is actually selling it themselves, if we continue that relationship, just a couple hellos, and Eric's still communicating with Ian. And the reason for that is there's no permanent no. There's no such thing as a permanent no. Environments change, people change, companies bring in new people. There's no such thing as a permanent no. And even if we never sell Wisps again, I guarantee there'll be another product Ian will bring up to us eventually, where we'll be selling and capitalize on, because we keep that relationship open.
Yeah, 100%. And I still see them at trade shows today. And who's ever been to a trade show here? You know how they give out samples, right? And there's this Megan and Stephanie. They're like the 2 women who travel the country and try pushing Wisp on everybody. And like we joke now, and it's like, no, I don't want any samples until I can sell your product again. It's like, don't give me anything. Like, I don't want to taste them, I don't want to look at them, but if I'll sell them, give me all of them. So we joke now, and it's like a friendly, cordial relationship, and that's cool because that means there's growth opportunity in the future. But Sebastian, when he placed this order, this was like what, February,
We
maybe?
just got back from Cali.
Yeah, just got back from
It was
Cali.
March 10th, 11th.
Oh yeah, it was March. So this is like right when COVID struck. Sebastian and I, we were literally in the office till 3 in the morning placing like the biggest orders we've ever placed. We were screaming through the wall at each other. Like, no way, we're gonna get 2,000 of this. And he's like, no way, get 5,000 of this. It was so exciting. We did that for a week straight. Literally worked for like 18, 19 hours a day. And it was because of the relationship that we were able to do that. And another fun fact is that was our best month ever. You know what our new best month ever is? March of 2021, last month was our best month ever, Amazon. So it just goes to show all of you that there's so much opportunity. This wasn't a COVID coincidence, a coincidence. It wasn't that. You know? It wasn't that. It's like hard work, determination, and discipline. Who wants to get participated in and oh, sorry.
Let me just jump back real quick to what Eric was talking about, us screaming through walls. Now you've gotten to know Eric, or you're probably already do. You're getting to know me a little bit. So I'm not the loud energy type until Eric walks in the room, and then I feel it. So we both have our offices right next to each other. There's a wall between us. So normal businesses would have an intercom. We do, but for some reason Eric loves screaming at me through the wall, so I do the same thing all day long. And employees are always looking at us and are coming into our office wondering why we're doing that, because everyone else is using the intercom system we have. But me and Eric all day long are just screaming at each other. Should I get this ASIN? Should I get that ASIN? So that was going on that whole night until I couldn't even feel my throat. It's like this event where we just kept going back and forth. Not once, because of his energy, did I think about using the intercom that was right next to me.
Yeah, it's fun times. Fun times. Yeah. All right, what do we got next? We got the 4 Ps. The 4 Ps. Right, you got your picker, your packer, your purchaser, and your position leader. These are 4 essential only roles you'll ever need in your business. Right? Some of you right now, how many are playing, and we'll go over these in detail, how many are playing all these roles right now? How many are packaging, picking, purchasing, and leading? I'm buying for myself. You're buying for myself. We're going to get you there. We're going to get you there. That's a lot of people all these roles. Fashion, I know what it's like to do all these roles. You have to do all these roles to understand them. To be able to grow, you have to understand these processes. It's a crucial part of any business. You got to understand it, because one of the things, and if anybody's done this in here, I apologize. I get a lot of Instagram DMs, and it's like, hey Eric, I just started my business yesterday. I want to hire 5 VAs. Where can I get 5 VAs? Because I don't want to do anything. It's like, bro, lady, you don't even know what you're doing. You started your business yesterday. Like, you don't even know what to tell the VAs to do. So how are you going to know if they're screwing it up? You don't know. You got to understand these positions. And it's pretty straightforward here. You got your picker. What's the picker do, Scott?
They organize the products, get them ready. So you're putting in your bowls, your shipments, you manage FBA shipment, and when you have that ready, you're providing it to the picker. They're organizing everything the way you want it to be in order to get the products to be produced. That's it.
That's it, but we went over with the production.
Robert,
Yeah.
you want to bonefish?
Shout out to my mom too, she's watching on YouTube. Love you, Mom.
Love you, Lauren.
She says I love you too.
You know? What about, did we get any countries in there?
Farthest one is Romania.
Romania! Shout out to Romania. What else we got in there?
Everywhere.
Everywhere. Awesome. We worldwide, baby. I love it.
Greece, Turkey, Houston, Panama, Michigan,
Houston, I know
Vegas, Miami Gardens in the house. Yeah.
Nice. Miami Gardens in the house.
Spain. I mean everywhere.
Spain. That's so exciting, man. How many fire emojis did we get?
A
Time?
lot.
Let's get some more fire emojis in those comments, my friend. All right, so now packer. Right, so a picker is literally picking the products. So we talked about the receiving process, right? Your inventory is received, it's counted, discrepancy report, and then it's staged. But how does it get staged? Let's say this is our production station. How does it get staged here? Someone needs to pick it, right? And then it's staged right here. So you got all the products right here. And then comes the packer. Someone needs to pack. So what's the packer do?
Packers, what we cover, it's the production line. They're getting the product ready to go out the way that Amazon expects it to come. Whether it needs to be bubble wrap, poly bag, FMC, do not separate, choke hazard, whatever Amazon's requiring of you, it needs to be prepped, prepared properly, and also making sure that they're putting the right FMC on the right product.
Yeah. Then you have your purchaser, or your buyer. Right? How many of you are doing your buying for your business right now? We're almost done here. I know we're getting some hands. We're going to do some more exercises. We have some information to provide you. And we're going to open it up for a little Q&A. How are we doing on time?
You're good.
We're good? Everything's copacetic. Fantastic.
Bonefish is waiting.
Okay. Oh. So purchaser, how many show of hands? Sorry, I missed it. One more day. Okay, so a lot of you are still buying your inventory, which is great. I love it. It's my favorite job. Sebastian's too. We love nothing more than sitting
They're
down.
actively searching for stuff too?
Yeah,
They're
yeah,
not just
yeah.
buying, okay.
Yeah, they're buying, you know, connecting with suppliers and stuff. You know what? But I encourage, if you do use your buyers to reach out to suppliers, any of the in-depth initial conversations, we encourage you to do those yourself. Because there's just some questions that they might not have the answers to until they're trained properly. But a buyer's the most important person in your business. And it's because your buyer is providing inventory for your pickers and packers. So if your buyer's not buying, these two positions no longer exist and your business doesn't exist. You need to have inventory coming in. You have to. And then how do you manage all these, Sebastian?
The position leaders. You know, Eric touched on it. You want to have somebody that's in that position that has previously done it. Toyota, huge company. Everyone knows Toyota. Toyota doesn't care if you're the CEO of the company. The CEO can't go up to the guy putting the engine block in if he's never done it. Cannot go up and tell him how to do it if he's never done it. So in Toyota, when they put people into positions of management or leadership, they make sure those people have prior knowledge and experience with it. Why is that?
Because they have to know when people are making mistakes, what they're doing wrong, how to increase the efficiency of that operation. If you've never done it, you don't know what to look out for. You know, like Greg, he's our warehouse manager. Greg's been with us for what's about
6 years.
6 years. So of course we put him in that position. He knows the warehouse in and out. And we tell him all the time. He asks a question, I'll be like, Greg, do what you want to do. It's your warehouse. You know? I just come down and tour once in a while, make sure everything's operating. You do this. It's your warehouse. You take care of it. You know, Caddy, she's been producing products for us. She's our
5
position
years.
leader.
5 years now.
She manages 25 women in our warehouse and men who package all of our inventory. She started as a packer, you know, and now she manages 25 employees every day because she knows what to do and she's good at it too, right? She's the best. I'm scared of her.
But the reason Eric said it's your warehouse and Kathy's the best is if you want to have a successful business and scale, then you can't have the mentality where these people, anybody works for you. They work with you.
Yeah.
If you think they work for you, you're not going to have success. They're going to feel that energy and they're not going to be motivated. Everyone here wants a better future. You don't think your employees do? And if you can't provide that, and if you can't push them and motivate them with not only just your high energy or being sympathetic and understanding, but also financially, eventually, right? Greg's been with us, I could only pay him $10 an hour. Now, he's doing very well for himself. But the reason is he believed in the vision, we believed in him, and we took care of it anytime we could. Because we understood he was working with us, not for us.
Yeah, it's important to be a leader and not a boss. We've all had shitty bosses. Nobody likes a shitty boss. You know, but be a good leader. Lead your team. Have no problem pulling up your sleeves, getting your hands dirty, showing them what needs to be done. It's super important. And for anybody, you know, watching this right now, and you're like, yeah, well, this is like, I'm so far removed from that. Like, I just have one employee, it's just me, right? But you gotta change the way your mind thinks and set goals for yourself. Maybe you wanna get in here in 2 months. Maybe you never wanna have a warehouse. That's okay. You still need to understand these processes because your prep center is gonna be doing the picking and the packing. And you wanna make sure you can get the lowest prep cost for your product. So you wanna communicate with them. Hey, how's my inventory being processed over there? You know, when it comes in, how's it being picked and packaged? Is there any way I can cut some time off of this? Communicate with them to save some money. And then if you have VAs doing your buying, you want to set up weekly meetings with them. Make sure, review their orders. Make sure they're making you money, not leaving money on the table. You become the position leader, leading them until you can hire somebody else to lead them for you. Good old Bezos, can we hear him? I don't know if we're going to be able to hear him, right?
I think we hear him on the stream.
Oh, you can hear him on the stream?
Why don't you just...
Just say what he says. He's like, hey, my name's Jeff Bezos, and I'm the creator of Amazon. This is in like 1996. He's like, my name's Jeff Bezos, and I'm the owner of Amazon. And it was 1996. He's like, I sell books on Amazon. And the guy filming, he's like, what? And he's like, yeah, books are the most purchased product in the world. You know, the guy's like, you could hear his hesitancy in the interview. You know, and Jeff's like, yeah, and I'm going to grow the largest business that the world has ever seen. And it's like, what? This guy was a nut job in 1996. He was the richest man in the world. It's crazy.
He had a vision.
A vision. How many of you have a vision here today? A lot of you, right? That's why you're here. You have a vision. I have a vision. I have a vision. So what else we got here? I think that might be it. The socials. How many of you follow us on all these socials right now? All right. Even Clubhouse? Who's got an iPhone and doesn't have Clubhouse? Send me an Instagram DM with your phone number. I'll get your Clubhouse invite. All right? Might take me a couple days, but I'll get it to you. I promise. All right, we're gonna do one more exercise, and we got a little more information to share. So everybody, stand up. Let's do some affirmations. First of all, shake it out a little, right? Shake it out. Shake it out. Get loose. Get loose. Get loose. All right, first affirmation. I will be better. On the count of 3, say it loud. 1, 2, 3.
I will be better.
Second affirmation. I can do better.
I can do better.
Awesome. Third affirmation. I will take action.
I will take action.
Last affirmation. It starts today.
It starts today.
One more time. It starts today.
It starts today.
Again. It starts today.
It starts today.
Awesome. Fantastic. So something I do, I did this yesterday, I thought it was pretty fun. But something I do when I'm driving in my car, Gabe, if Gabe's back, I don't know, but he asked, like, what do I do, or what does Sebastian and myself do to get motivated, right? And I'm a firm believer that in order to stay motivated sometimes I'm not just feeling it. Who wakes up in the morning sometimes and you're not just feeling it, right? It's like, oh man, another day? Oh my God, I just had 14 of these in a row. Another one? I gotta do another one of these? It's 5:45 in the morning. You know, we all have those days. Some days I just can't break it. So what I do, the first thing I get in my car, I scream as loud as I can. We're gonna do that together. All right? Who's ready to do that? Who's ready to scream as loud as they can? All right? So I'll do it first. To let you know that I'm cool, getting uncomfortable with everybody. I'll let you into my car ritual. And I want everybody else to do it. Right? So I just get in my car. Usually the podcast is out from the night before. I turn everything off. And I just go, ah! Right? And then sometimes I'll do it again. Ah! I'm trying to change just my mental state, my physical state. So on the count of 3, I want everybody to scream. 1, 2, 3.
Ah!
Louder. 1, 2, 3.
Ah!
Awesome. Fantastic. Thank you. Everybody can take a seat. So many of life's failures are people who did not realize how close they were, right? So like quitting before the miracle happens. You're right at the cusp of a miracle. And you know you're right there, but you're just like, you know what? I'm gonna give up. I'm not ready to take the last couple steps in the process. And you quit right before you turn the corner. And that thing you were trying to achieve is right around there. How many times have you done that? I know early on. Me and Sebastian, we've known each other for what, 20-something years now? Yeah. So we've experienced a lot of quitting between me and him, especially early on. You know, me and him have become completely different people than we were when we first met 20 years ago.
Before the transformations, right? And that goes back to the beginning, full circle, where everything that we provide today will not benefit your business if you're not changing.
Yeah. Full transformation. How many people want to experience a transformation? Say aye.
Aye.
Awesome. Louder. How many people want to experience a transformation? Say aye.
Aye.
Awesome. Fantastic. And that wraps it up, everybody. For now. We got a couple more things going on here. Right now, you're probably wondering, like, how do I get those IP templates? Right? So we're gonna mail, we want everybody's address, we're gonna mail you. No, I'm just kidding. It's 2021, we're not gonna mail you anything. You know? You know, but I think Mike just passed out some cards, right? So you scan that QR code, it's also right up here. You scan that QR code, you put your email address in, and you're gonna be able to get access to all that information. And also, as a little promotion for everybody coming out here today, because we respect your time. Homeboy she rode her bike from Georgia. She came from San Francisco, right? People in Miami Gardens on this, and this is for you too on YouTube, right? This is for everybody because we want to provide as much value as possible. Who got a lot of value out of this today? Say aye.
Aye.
I can't hear you. Who got a lot of value out of this today? Say aye. Awesome, fantastic, right? So we want to continue to provide this value. And how do we provide value to Amazon sellers literally every single day of the week? Not only through social media, but we also have a mentoring program that comes with a full in-depth course that literally breaks down
so many
a lot
times,
of information. Literally, the course is 100 hours worth of information. That's all this stuff, even deeper, the processes. We show you how our warehouse is organized. We show you how we receive our inventory. Our warehouse manager, Greg, shows you that. We show you how we research products. All of that. And in addition, as a little added bonus, we doubled the mentoring. So you no longer get 3 months of weekly mentoring. You get 6 months of weekly mentoring. Right? Because we want to be with you when you help your business grow. Don't worry, if you're in the course already, just submit your email to that and you get the additional 3 months as well. You know, we didn't want to forget about the people. How many here are in a sellers are? Right, show of hands. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Awesome. How many of you 10 people have business has grown substantially since joining? Keep your hands up. Awesome. David, I have more hands. Awesome, fantastic. And in addition, wait, there's more though. There's more, right, Sebastian?
There's always more.
There's always more. So in addition to an additional 3 months of mentoring, you also get our brand workshop. Remember that company Wisps I was showing you? Right, so we do that as like an upsell after, but nope, you get that absolutely for free. It shows you how to obtain and do business with multi-million-dollar brands. It gives you contracts that you can send to them. All you got to do is add your name, and it breaks down the process for you in 6 hours of video that Sebastian and I show you how we obtain those brands, where we find those brands, how to connect with those brands, and how to help those brands grow on Amazon so you can make more money. Does that sound exciting to everybody?
Yes.
Awesome, fantastic. So all you got to do is scan that link. Check it out. It expires tonight, right? It's a promotion for this. We want to help you to continue to grow your businesses, and we want to be there for you every step of the way. We don't just hand you this information and say, hey, figure it out. We literally dive deep into it. Private Facebook group, weekly mentoring calls, all that. And now we're going to open it up to what? A Q&A?
We'll do a little Q&A. Well, what is the weekly mentoring call?
Oh, so the weekly, that's a great question, Sebastian. So the weekly mentoring calls are Monday evenings, and we spend about an hour and a half to 2 hours with 20 to 30 sellers, and we just kick the shit, right? It's live on Zoom, and we answer your questions, and we guide you for any struggles or trials, tribulations you're having in that specific week, and we motivate you when other sellers are asking questions about their businesses, and there's a lot of, 7 and 8 figure sellers in there, and there's newer people, and there's people who are doing sellers who are doing $50,000, $100,000 a month, so you get a broad spectrum of people who are literally motivated every single day, and I know the couple people who raise their hands, they love these calls, right? They love these calls. I love the calls. It's literally my favorite day of the week because I learn so much in them. All right, so we're gonna do. How are we doing on time, Carlos?
You're good. We have a hard stop in 59 minutes.
Okay, fantastic.
That's what we want. Yeah.
So we're gonna do. We'll open it up some questions, and the only dumb question is the one that you sit there and you do not ask. Room home.
Yeah, man, you know me, I'm always asking questions. So this is something, it's probably the same to you today as it is to people that are brand new here, that don't have a single employee. How do you make that leap forward and say like, okay, you know what, I know that this is going to bring value to me to get that first employee, or that second, or that fifth, or the next 10. Like, how did you come up with that determination to say, my business is ready to take on this expense and go from there? Because once you have those employees, you know that they're bringing in value. But like most people are afraid, they're afraid to take that jump. Yeah. Right. So how did you come up? How did you convince yourself that it was the right decision?
Time. I mean, do you always want to be picking and packing in your warehouse? Of course. I'd rather go out on a beautiful day like today in Miami and be out. Or when I came to realization from the internal business side, which is I make a lot more money for my business when I'm reaching out to brands when I'm reaching out to distributors, when I'm sourcing, analyzing products, than I do picking and packing. If Eric and I are always reminding each other, if you're doing the same thing every single day, these minute tasks, then something needs to change. If it could be automated, you shouldn't be doing it every day. You're running a business. You want to be an owner, not an operator. You need to be forward thinking. And so that first step, total fear. Totally get it, but you need to take the risk. Just do it. What's the worst? Okay, you know, let's say you hire somebody $10 an hour, you have them come in part-time, 20 hours, a friend, family, whatever. That's what we did cash under the table just to kind of test the waters. If in 2 weeks you don't see results, you can step back. You can step back. But if you do, you're gonna want to continue that. And it's not like we didn't jump in and say, let's get 8 people, let's get 10 people and start one person. One person, Vinny, was working maybe 15, 20 hours. That's it. Start small. Baby steps, because sometimes the miles seem so far away until you start taking these tiny steps.
What do you like to buy? What do we like to buy?
And when you purchase, when you do the purchasing.
Anything that makes me money. I don't care, I'll sell anything.
Two things. One, for people that weren't able to get the QR code online, is that the URL?
Yeah, that
This
is
is
the
it.
URL.
This
So I
is
can
it.
put the URL in the chat. The other
Yes,
thing
for
is,
sure.
Yep.
.com/Florida, and I think they can also scan it off their screen. No?
yeah, for those that can't.
Yeah.
The other thing is, like Ramon had a really good question, he had a really good question. Can you repeat or rephrase?
Oh, yes, yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. And also, so what we're doing after this, we're going to where? Bonefish Grill?
Yeah, walking distance, right here at the end,
All right.
last door.
Yeah,
Drinks.
So we're going to Bonefish Grill after this. So what I'd like to do is kind of address some of the YouTube comments because those people aren't here, right? And then we'll be with you for the next couple hours. So we'll do a few questions here, but we'd also like to address, you know, because they've been patiently waiting and watching as well. So we'd like to address those. And then if you have a question, Sebastian and I will be hanging out for the next couple hours with all y'all. You know, 'cause I want to get to know y'all a little more individually. So Carlos, you got some questions over there?
Yeah, there's a ton of questions all revolving around ungating, but I mean, just a ton. Like how to get ungated. Some people are suggesting hiring an ungating service and like, let's,
You want to repeat the question, Sebastian?
So the question being asked is how to get ungated. There's a lot of different ways people tell you that, you know, you can use a service that's gonna cost you money. It will work, but it'll cost you money. Another way of handling it is working with authentic suppliers authorized by Amazon and just putting in a small order. Amazon requires 10 units. You don't need to go and put, you know, you don't need to order 1,000 units of a product to get ungated. By units, I mean ACEs. 10 units of that ACE need to be ordered. So if it's a 2-pack, 20 units will need to be ordered, right? And that's it. You supply that information, make sure on that invoice you have your Amazon registered business, the Amazon registered business address and name, the phone number, email, and then also that company provides you all of that information too. And it's much better if you can get the company to provide the UPC on the invoice. It's a little bit more difficult if it's just their internal SKU. The UPC will verify to Amazon that the product you're trying to get ungated in is also the product that's on the invoice.
What else we got from over there, Carlos? They're all ungated questions?
That's it.
almost everything is ungated.
All right, we'll slide to Vanessa while you get some more
Yeah.
questions there.
Going again with the question that Ramon asked, in your internal and external process, when is the right time to hire someone? Before you hire someone, do you build a process or you build them with them? Because you mentioned something that you need to track the time. How much time it takes you to pack and pick or whatever. Like, when did you build those processes? And who helped you? Because you mentioned mentors
Yes.
last night, so
Yes.
did you have a special mentor that built up for you and consultant, or you build it by experience?
So Vanessa's question was, for the processes we discussed of tracking metrics, and like when do we decide to do that? Was it while we were by ourselves, with our first employee, and when really should you implement that into your business, correct? And then our second question, which we'll touch on, is like, who are our mentors, right? Where did we learn this stuff from? So just your first question, it's like, obviously if you're by yourself, it's tough to track metrics because it's just you, right? But I would say start tracking it from the first employee, you know, because you want to know how much inventory they can do. And it's interesting. It's an interesting metric. But up until about 16, 17 employees, for every, like let's say you have 2 employees and you get 4, your business will double, right? If you have 4 and you'll get 8, your business will double. If you have 8 and you have 16, your business will double again. But once you hit like that 16, 17 employees, it's a little tougher to double your business. But it's still possible. So, you know, the tracking, it's just, you'll know when you need to track your processes, right? If it's just you in your house, it's like, you're just being as efficient as possible. And you're noting what you're doing, you know? You're like, okay, I need to do this, get these 100 units out the door. But then when you start getting 2 employees, 3 employees, more stuff moving around, and you really should start tracking.
And do you ask
there an outlet?
questions like,
Plug
for
this into
example,
over here somewhere?
my employees pack everything in 45 seconds.
Most of
How
the
do I
outlet's right
know
there.
if that's good enough or not? Like, how do you come up with the right number, the right time for all the things that you try?
Yeah, so you wanna track your averages
There's also an
and then
outlet near them.
consistently get better.
Okay.
Right, so you just wanna continue to beat yourself, because if you're operating efficiently, then you're doing a good job, right? But if you're decreasing the amount of time it takes, so let's say a month ago you're at a minute of product, and then this month you're at 50 seconds. The new goal would be like, all right, how can I get this to 40 seconds? And then the next goal would be like 30 seconds, so you're really just trying to put yourself. And to answer your last question, our mentors, we have this guy Ernie, became a great friend of mine, and he owns a large wholesale company, you know, $180, $190 million wholesale company. He kind of took us under his wing. He taught us about, he suggested we go exhibit at trade shows, and he taught us, he led us into a warehouse, let us see his processes. He really took us under his wing and taught us a lot about optimization. Carlos?
You use multiple companies, or is all of your business done through just one seller account?
Yeah.
Good question.
Asking for a friend.
So the question is, do we have multiple accounts or not? And we don't. We have one account. We have one account. We want to grow that account as large as possible, and having one very big account allows me to travel to Seattle, meet with Amazon, allows Amazon to travel to our facility. We've had the category managers come visit us, performance come visit us, and the reason for that is because we have a very large account. They wouldn't come visit us if we had 25 smaller accounts. And it provides some incentive. So we continue to focus on one account. There's a lot of stories that you can hear online and Facebook about my account getting shut down. But we have worked with literally thousands of different sellers I've worked with. And some have done some real shady stuff. Some real shady, on the line of unethical stuff. Let's just,
Very Russian.
and just totally against Amazon terms of services. And I got their account easy. So the fact of the matter is, you can have one account and continue to grow. You might hear a lot of things that bring fear to you, but the fact of the matter is, maybe that person isn't giving you the full story. They might not be giving you the full story.
Alex has a question online too about those who manage the business from Europe and use prep centers. How can we optimize logistics?
How can you optimize?
Optimize logistics if you're using prep centers from outside the country. So like you're living in Europe and you're selling in the US.
Yes.
So you don't have a warehouse in the US, but you want to leverage a prep center in the US.
Okay, so what you're gonna first want to do is everything we talked about, which is understand your internal operations and ask questions to different 3Ps. You're gonna have to understand, how long from the time I check in is my product gonna be packed and brought to fulfillment centers? What is the cost of prepping? What is the cost of shipping? What if there's any discrepancies? Who handles that? What if there's any damages? What's considered a warehouse damage? What's considered a damage that I'm responsible for? There's a lot of questions you need to ask, and you need to shop around. And then as far as it comes to bringing products in from Europe to US to these prep centers, you're gonna wanna shop. There's so many freight forwarders, so many brokers out there. Reach out, ask the questions, see what the cost is, and then see what the time is. Because sometimes you might get a phenomenal cost, but it's gonna take 60 days to get it on boat versus 30 days. I'd rather pay less and get it here in the US to my prep center in 30.
Do you handle multiples inventory during the summer months? Any advice?
Don't do it.
Yeah, the shipping process is just, you gotta freeze them or do some sort of bubble pack. It's not, we've done it, For sure.
And that's why we're saying don't do it, it's not cost effective.
So the problem with meltables, the question was meltables. The problem with meltables in the summertime is that we had insulation, we had ice packs in there, dry packs, whatever, you name it. But if it lands on the doorstep of your customer at 8 a.m. in Miami, and they don't get home till 6 p.m., it doesn't matter what kind of prepping you did before.
In fact, you look like my forehead, you know?
This is a consolidated question of just, I don't even know how many, but basically, what is a good way to source for products to resell? Still in the first year of the business, many people use tactical arbitrage account, and that's what I use now. Any advice?
Yeah, so this lady or gentleman's question was best way to source products. He's using tactical arbitrage right now and looking for alternative methods. So depends really what you want to do. Retail arbitrage, you literally should be going to stores and scanning everything, right? Scan everything and run. Buy it, scan it, repeat. If you're doing wholesale and you're looking for new distributors, Google is the best place to start finding them. And then you can kind of branch off to there, start doing some LinkedIn searches, you know, some Owler searches, which is a great website. So you can kind of branch off. Owler. Like owl? Like, woo!
How is it? How is it?
So one of our members, a couple days ago, I don't know if he's here, Muhammad, I saw him in Orlando, I don't know if he did it, but he asked a question, he asked, you know, he was struggling finding suppliers, and he asked the question. So I just said, you know, I did it live on Facebook, and I'm like, okay, look, here, beauty supplies. So I thought of beauty suppliers, and I thought of retail stores, and I thought, oh, Sally's Beauty. So then what I did was I typed in Sally's Beauty Distribution Center. And what did I find? I found a lot of LinkedIn warehouse positions for Sally's Beauty Distribution Center. And I found them in Florida. So then I found the address of it. And I said, if I lived in Florida within a 6-hour range of that, I would spend a day on the street where that distribution center is and see all the different trucks coming in, all the different suppliers coming into that place. I would be paying attention on the road when I'm driving, looking at all the different trucks on the road and what the names are on there, because those are opportunities. Those are opportunities.
Yeah. Let's go to CVS, park out back.
A question. Before being able to scale up, any tip to find a new product which I can sell 80 units per day, plus a lot of questions coming in, about if people are already signed up for Sellers RI.
Yeah.
Can we still get access to the free Baron workshop? So a lot of that's coming in
Yeah.
with that question about 80 a day.
Absolutely. So if you're already in the course, you get the brand workshop. You get a brand workshop. You get a brand workshop. You get 3 more months of mentoring. You get 3 months of mentoring. Absolutely. Everybody, if you're already in the course, don't worry. We did not forget about you. You get it as well.
What about the
Now-
80 units a day, or like real
Yeah,
quick
the
to
80
start things
units-
off?
It's a very specific question. It's like 50% of the Instagram questions I get. They're so specific. And it's like, oh my God, that's a very specific question. But listen, do your research. You know, you're going to find some winners, you're going to find some losers. I think, and a lot of you would agree, a healthy FBA business, you got the SKUs that are moving 10 a month, making, you know, $7, $10 on, and then you got the SKUs that are selling 300, 400 a month, making $3 or $4 on. So a healthy mix of both. You know, but if you want to find those winners, you could do a reverse ASIN search. It's reverse engineering, we call it. We have a dope video on our YouTube channel that breaks it down, but you kind of look at like the top 100, top 500 sellers in any category, and you reverse engineer it, and you figure out the manufacturer, you figure out some of his wholesalers, and then you start contacting them. So you can find specific products that move well.
This will catch us up online with questions after I consolidate them. From a friend of mine, Tom, if you were starting again today, where would you start? How would you go about finding new relationships?
Yeah, and if I were starting today, I would start in the beginning the same way we did. Because all the processes that we built are the same. And the only difference is if I was starting today, I would spend a lot more time, now that the knowledge is available, learning from others who succeeded before me. See, the company we were talking about prior, That company, they didn't sell on Amazon, but they were successful. They taught us about kind of stats and everything that we're really talking about. They talk a lot to us about how to do that. There weren't Amazon sellers that were successful showing their processes. There wasn't even an Amazon seller app where we could scan. We had to go in with notebook and pen, write down products, retail arbitrage, go home, do the research, go back to the store, repeat, rinse, wash, whatever, 10 times a day. Literally, there was times where we did that 10 different times in the minivan, in the caravan. So now, with all the knowledge available, I would grab that knowledge and I wouldn't sit in analysis paralysis, because too many do that, where they get this information, then they get home and do nothing about it. Take action. That's it today. Like, if you don't take action today, until I took action on day one, nothing happened. Everything was the same.
All right, we're gonna take 2 more questions, and then we're gonna wrap it up. Over here, Carlos.
A whole bunch of variations of this, but should you look at your Amazon business reports, and if so, how often?
Yeah, you should look at them.
It's a safe answer.
Yes, you should look at your business reports. You know what? There's some phenomenal services, like a reason to look at your business reports would be like reimbursements, right? Are you getting reimbursed for your returns? Is Amazon losing inventory? But there's some phenomenal companies that do that for you. You know, so as far as business reports goes, I don't look at business reports frequently. But, you know, I'm looking at our payment reports frequently to see if there's any charges that are, you know, just out of the normal. One day, Sebastian, if Ted was here, he would not be happy, but I'll share it with everybody. But Sebastian, we turned on our inventory placement because what was the reason? I don't remember. We were getting shipment split, right? We were getting shipment split, so we turned on our inventory placement, and it was whatever, it's a lot of ASINs, so it was like maybe $2,000 per truckload, and then we forgot to turn it off, and we sent out 10 or 12 truckloads. So it was like a $40,000 mistake, you know, because we weren't looking at our reports. So it's important to just kind of dive into those a little and just understand them, absolutely. I think we're going to, Carlos, you got anything else over there? All right, so we're gonna take 2 more questions from people in here, and then before everybody goes, right, so at about 3:30, we're gonna head over there. For anybody, first we're gonna kind of network. I want everybody to meet each other here, so when you get over there, you kind of be a little more comfortable. Also, my homeboy Michael, he's back there. Raise your hand, Michael. Everybody say hi, Michael.
Hi, Michael.
I don't think Michael felt loved. I love Michael. Everybody say hi, Michael.
Hi, Michael.
Hey, guys.
Michael's an OG. We love Michael. So Michael's going to be hanging back here. We'd love, if you got any value out of this, especially if you're an e-sellers RI, we'd love if you hang back. You can just film a quick little video about your experience here today, or just how we've helped you, or how you hate us. Doesn't matter to me. I just want to hear it from you personally. And then anybody who's in the course already, or anybody who signed up today, we're going to open that back door there, and we got some swag to hand out, right? We got some t-shirts and some bags, because we want to let you know that we appreciate your time here. So we're going to take 2 more questions, and we'll start with this guy. He's been patient.
So ideally, how much money do you start wholesale?
I would say between $3,000 to $5,000 is the optimal price point. You can start with less. More is always better. So his question was how much money it was needed to start wholesale, right?
Yeah.
So yes, $3,000 to $5,000 is the optimal amount. Does that answer your question?
Yeah. Also, like, for example, like I'm doing retail arbitrage, and I started 3 months ago, and I already made like 50,000. And I want to move to wholesale, but I'm just like kind of like hesitating on like whether or not the product's gonna be or not. Like, what advice can you give me on that?
You'll know we'll move. You just do the keeper research. Keeper literally will tell you every single thing about the listing. Prices and what its historical rank is and everything like that. So same way you're doing your retail arbitrage research. Unless you're just scanning stuff, buying it, not looking at anything. You know, but you're looking at ranking and pricing. It's the same thing, except instead of buying 10 units, you're buying 80 or 120. So you just got to be a little more aggressive with your purchasing, which can be uncomfortable for you. All right, this gentleman, and then we're going to take that lady, and then we're going to wrap it up, do some networking, hand out some search, go eat some food.
Thank you. Going back to the LTO shipments that they're taking like super long to check in pallets and all that. I don't know if I understood correctly. You said you rather use like a third-party shipping company rather than a partner company?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it'll be like, LTL shipments, and then instead of Amazon partner, you do like my own or other. And then you get other pallets, you get in contact with the company and just do like a routing, like a tracking number. Like to get like the appointment time or.
The carriers will reach out. So there's a lot, I just wanna make sure everyone on YouTube gets it, so let me just, say what you said there. So, and tell me if I'm wrong, basically you wanna know how to set up an Amazon shipment using a different carrier than Amazon partner carrier. And how does the appointment get set up? In 2021, 99% of US carriers have shipped the product to the Amazon fulfillment center. When you go into your managed FBA shipping, you're going to choose other, after you already received a call, multiple calls from a broker or reviews, and you've chosen that carrier, they will handle the rest. They'll have their appointment, and at their appointment time, they'll deliver it because it's their own private trailer versus Amazon, you could just hand it to them. You're welcome.
All right, you've been very patient back there. What's your name?
Anna,
Anna, please ask away.
okay, so to save money, are you able to share with a different IP address and a different internet line, same warehouse address with another store? Let's say he's got his store, I have mine, but we want to use the same warehouse. This address, same unit. Can you do that with a different IP address and online?
No.
Or can you actually also use the same, online or internet, two stores, one storage? Can you do that?
So Anna's question was, can you run two Amazon businesses out of the same facility? My first question would be, are both businesses owned by the same person?
No,
So they're completely separate businesses?
yes.
So then, yeah, you could just communicate with Amazon. There's other places where multiple sellers, there might be a warehouse that's shared with 5. We have another Amazon seller in the same building as us. So you just would communicate, hey, there's another Amazon seller next door to me. We're at the same location, we're sharing this place. And you communicate that with Amazon. And the reason why I communicated through a case is so there's literally logged documentation saying, hey, I have this additional business, Amazon saying, or there's an additional business running at the same location, Amazon saying, okay, that's okay. So if anything happens, you can just forward them that information.
Same exact address, you can do that. Also like IP addresses and.
If it's two different companies not owned by the same person. Right.
Selling different products.
No, not same Mason.
All the same.
Yeah. Yeah, it could definitely get, if y'all are sharing, it could definitely get challenged.
Sharing the warehouse.
Yeah, that's not an
And then also, I don't know if it's like a thing, like, they say, do not open your Amazon store, like, on the same online, on the same internet,
I wouldn't
because of
recommend it.
IP addresses, Amazon doesn't like that.
I'm not
because
recommending
You're operating two shops in the same place, and then they can cancel.
So, yeah, so.
Is that
Is it true? I don't know, I just wouldn't open.
I wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
It's not worth the risk.
Yeah, if I
Pay the
think that's a
extra $50 a
possible-
month, get a different
Exactly.
Go to your neighbor's house who doesn't sell on
VPS,
Amazon.
yes.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna jump, and and then I promise we're wrapping this up. This is woman had something to say. What's your name?
My name is Mike Aguirre. I actually do have more than one Amazon store.
Okay.
And what I did was, it's all under my name, my social security, that I incorporated and moved into a corporation. And what I did was you have to use a different bank account, which has a debit card. And that's what stops you from doing it. But if you have different bank accounts with a different debit card, you can do it. And what I did was I used the same laptop, but I always ran on a different browser. Chrome,
That doesn't-
Firefox,
And there's a lot, there's absolutely a lot of different ways you can set up
and the
multiple
reason I
accounts.
did it was because I wanted to.
Let me jump in.
I have
Maybe
so far it's okay.
You didn't have,
One weekend.
you can have multiple accounts under one business as long as we're selling different products.
Yeah.
No issue, so you do not.
Yeah, I never mixed,
No, but you don't need to do that.
ASINs with.
You don't need to do that anymore. You can bring them all.
Well, it was just my preference, but I do have a question. How do you go over the topical restrictions? Because I've had products that I've sold on my stores, and then all of a sudden Amazon will slap a topical restriction on it. and then all of a sudden then I can't access the email. How can I do it? Do I need to hire somebody to do that?
Yes, Vanessa. For topical restrictions, the question is topical restrictions. If you have issues with topical restrictions, how do you handle that? There are a lot of people that understand the inners and outers of Amazon and how to work that, of course, catalog compliant, all those issues. But also, it really is, we have to get down to the specifics, the nitty and gritty, to know what it is. Is this a product that UPC doesn't match the ASIN? Maybe a seller created it using their own UPCs, so Amazon will never be able to find the information on
It
it.
wasn't a UPC follow, the fact that they were telling me that I wasn't authorized to sell a topical product.
Sure.
You know, that
So you have to get ungated. We have to look at the nitty and gritty, and that's something we can talk about after this, because it's so specific. I don't wanna have 100 people
No, it
waiting
is
for us to
very
answer that.
specific.
Yeah.
So let's.
Bonefish Grill will take it over there. Carlos.
Guys, everybody, huge,
Yeah.
huge round of applause
Yeah,
for these
thank
guys.
you.
And then network a little, hang out, get to know each other.
Yeah, bro.
Carlos, I think he wants your attention. Are you looking for something?
What?
Are you looking for something?
No, just wait when you finish, we need the door.
Okay.
Yeah. I need to take you over there.
Okay.
The mixer.